All right, let's talk about something that trips up so many traders, even the ones who've been at it for a while. This dangerous obsession with having a high win rate. It sounds completely backward, I know, but focusing on winning as often as you can, well, it can be a surefire way to lose money. Let's break down exactly why that is.
So let me just start by asking you this. Is it actually possible to win on 9 out of every 10 trades you make and still end up broker than when you started? The answer is absolutely yes. And understanding why is honestly the key to unlocking real, consistent profitability in your trading.
Okay, so how on earth is that possible? How can a strategy that feels so successful on the surface actually be a one-way ticket to blowing up your account? In this first part, we're going to unravel that exact paradox.
You know, the heart of the problem is really a psychological trap. I mean, it feels good to win, right? Our brains are literally hardwired with something called loss aversion. And what that means is the pain of losing feels about twice as strong as the pleasure of an equal win. And that bias, it pushes us to chase that feeling of being right. So we design strategies that give us lots of small, frequent profits, just so we can avoid the sting of a loss. Seeing green on the screen, it's just so validating.
And this whole obsession, it really boils down to one single metric. A metric that, on its own, is maybe the most misleading number in all of trading. And I'm talking, of course, about the win rate.
So what is it exactly? Well, win rate is super simple. It's just the percentage of your trades that you close for a profit. So, for example, if you make 10 trades and 6 of them are winners, hey, you've got a 60% win rate. It's easy, it's clean, and it feels like a report card on how good you are. And that's exactly what makes it so dang tempting to focus on.
But here's the thing, and this is so important. Your win rate tells you how often you win, but it tells you absolutely nothing about how much you win, and maybe even more critically, how much you lose when you're wrong. It's only half of the story. Looking at it by itself gives you a completely warped view of how you're actually doing.
So if win rate is the wrong thing to focus on, what's the right one? Well, we need something better, something that cuts through all that noise and just shows us the truth about whether a strategy is actually profitable. And that metric is called expectancy.
Think of expectancy as your true north. It's the one metric that really matters. It tells you, on average, how much money you can expect to make or lose every single time you place a trade. If it's positive, your strategy is profitable over the long haul. If it's negative, well, you've got a losing strategy. It really is that simple.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. A formula. Don't worry, this one is actually super straightforward. We just follow these 4 little steps. First, you figure out the win side of things. That's just your win rate times your average winning trade. Second, you do the same for the loss side. Your loss rate times your average losing trade. Step 3, you just subtract the loss side from the win side. And that number you're left with? Boom, that's your expectancy. That is the true measure of your strategy. You know what? To really nail this down, let's look at a practical example. We're going to follow 2 different traders with totally different philosophies, and we'll see how this whole thing plays out in the real world.
So first, we've got trader A. Let's call him the frequent winner. This guy's entire world revolves around getting a high win rate. He just loves the feeling of being right, so his strategy is built to churn out small, consistent wins as often as possible. And then you've got trader B, the smart winner. Now, trader B doesn't really care how often she wins. Instead, she is laser-focused on one thing, making sure her winning trades are way, way bigger than her losing trades.
Okay, now let's put their numbers side by side, because this is where it gets really interesting. Look at trader A, an incredible 80% win rate. But notice his average win is only $100, while his average loss is a painful $500. You run the numbers, and his expectancy is negative $20. He's losing $20 on average every single time he clicks the button. Now look at trader B. Her win rate is only 40%. She loses more often than she wins. But her average win is a massive $500, and she keeps her average loss to just $100. The result? A hugely profitable expectancy of plus $140 per trade. It's a total game changer.
So you see what's happening, right? Trader A's ego is feeling great, but his account is just slowly bleeding out because one single bad trade wipes out 5 of his wins. Meanwhile, trader B might be taking more small losses, but she's playing a completely different game. Each one of her wins pays for several losses, and that's what leads to steady, long-term growth.
So really, the big takeaway here is that we need to totally shift our mindset. We have to get past this simple, satisfying idea of just winning the next trade.
You know, this quote on the screen really says it all.
The goal is not to be right every single time. The goal of a professional trader is to consistently execute a strategy that over hundreds of trades has a positive mathematical expectancy. That's it. That's the whole game.
So how can you actually start improving your own expectancy? Well, first things first, you have to be relentless about your risk-to-reward ratio. Before you even think about entering a trade, you need to know your potential gain versus your potential loss. Second, aim for bigger average wins and be absolutely ruthless about cutting your losses short. And finally, you just have to drill it into your head that win rate is only one little piece of a much, much bigger puzzle.
And that brings me to the last thing I want to leave you with. Don't just guess. Go back, pull up your trading journal for your last 50, maybe 100 trades, and actually do the math. Calculate the number. What is the true expectancy of your trading strategy? The answer to that question might just change the way you trade forever.